Good morning, students. Welcome to your geography class. I hope all of you are well. Today we will start a new chapter. As you can see, this is minerals and energy resource. Okay. So, as we all know, minerals and energy, these two are very important and very crucial for our day-to-day life. We within 24 hours, each one of us is using resource and energy for various purpose or for various reason, from the toothpaste that we are using to the car that we are using. Each and every sector we required minerals as well as the energy. So we have studied that the earth crust is made of different minerals embedded in the rocks. Various metals are extracted from these minerals after proper refinement. Now, so the earth crust that is made up of different minerals, this is embedded in the rocks, and from rocks we are extracting the minerals after a proper refinement. Minerals are an indispensable part of our lives. Almost everything that we use, from a tiny pin to a towering building, from a big ship to each and every product, each and every goods that we are using, required to have minerals. Now, not exactly one type of mineral we are using, various types of minerals also we are using in different times, in different region, according to the, of course, requirement. So the railway lines and the tarmac of the roads, our implements and machinery too are made from minerals. Cars, buses, trains, aeroplanes are manufactured from the minerals and run on power resources derived from the earth. So not only car, bus, trains, aeroplanes, we require to have minerals to make it, also to use it. Okay. So we require energy. So all the cars, buses, trains, aeroplanes are manufactured from different minerals, and power resources are derived from the earth. Even the food that we eat contains also some minerals. In all the stages of the development, human beings have used minerals for their livelihood, decoration, festivals and religious purpose. So as you can totally understand, for various reason, for various purpose, we all use different types of minerals, and to use it we also required energy resource to charge it up and of course to use it. So what is minerals? Now, geologists define mineral as a homogeneous natural occurring substance definable in internal structure. So what is the definition of mineral? Now, it is, first of all, is homogeneous, and it is very much natural. It is natural occurring substance with a definable internal structure. So mineral internal structure can clearly definable. Minerals are found in various forms in nature, ranging from hardest diamond to softest talc. So the hardest mineral that we can found in our earth, that is diamond, and the softest one is talc. If we rate the hardness of minerals from 0 to 10, the diamond is 10. So, and the definition of mineral is, it is, first of all, is homogeneous and natural occurring substance with a definable internal structure. Now we have already learned about rocks. In your previous classes you already learned about the rocks. Okay, now rocks are combination of homogeneous substances called minerals. So what is rock? Rock is basically are the combination of homogeneous substance which is mineral. So each and every rock is having different types of minerals in it. But there are some rocks which consist of only one type of mineral. This is very rare. Most of the rocks are containing 2-3 types or more than that type of minerals. But there are some rocks which is containing only one type of minerals in it. Now There is example is limestone. Limestone is the rock which consists of a single mineral only. Okay. Now, but majority of the rocks consist of several minerals varying proportion. Of course, proportions are different. Like the way sedimentary rocks are carrying amount of iron, sedimentary rocks are not having the exact proportion of iron in it. So different rocks are having different proportion of minerals in it, but there is limestone which is consists of only one single mineral. Now, a particular mineral that will be formed from certain combination of elements depends upon the physical and chemical condition. Now, how we differentiate between rocks and minerals? Now, when a particular mineral that will be formed from a certain combination of elements depends upon the physical and definitely the chemical condition under which the material forms. How the rocks will form, how the minerals will appear, this totally depend upon the physical and chemical formation. This is in turn result is wide range of colors. So physical composition and of course the chemical composition helps to differentiate between colors, hardness, crystal forms, luster and density. So rocks and minerals density, hardness, crystal forms, colors, luster totally depend upon physical and chemical condition. Now geologists use these proportion to classify the minerals. Basically geologists use these factors which is color, hardness, crystal form, luster and density to differentiate in between the minerals and the rocks. Now what is the difference between geographer and geologist? Now geographers study minerals as a part of the earth's crust for a better understanding of landforms. The distribution of mineral resource and associated economic activities are some of interest of geographers. A geologist, however, is interested in the formation of minerals, their age and physical and chemical composition. So you can totally understand that there is a two different sector of work in between geographer and geologist. So geographers work with the economic activity, okay, of the mineral, the resource where we can get it and how we can use in our economical activity. This is their research point, this is their working point. But a geologist will research about the rocks and minerals, that how it formed, what is their age, what is the physical and chemical composition of these things. So geographers and geologists, they are having a total two different research sector. Okay. Now we can classify the minerals in various categories. First of all, if you see this chart, so we have metallic mineral, non-metallic and energy minerals. Okay, so we classify the mineral into three categories: metallic, non-metallic and energy minerals. So the ferrous metallic are like iron ore, manganese, nickel, cobalt, etc. So these are ferrous metallic mineral, that is containing iron, manganese, nickel, etc. Non-ferrous, it means they don't have any iron in it, which is copper, lead, tin and bauxite. So these are the non-ferrous metals. Next we have precious. So what is the precious minerals that we have? It is gold, silver and platinum. So these are the first type of mineral that is available on our earth is ferrous, which is containing iron. Okay, then we have non-ferrous, which is not containing any iron, and we have precious one. Now non-metallic, these are non-metallic minerals that we have, which is mica, salt, potash, sulfur, granite, limestone, marble and sandstone. So you can see these are mixed of igneous and sedimentary rocks, and they are basically non-metallic. It is mica, salt, potash, sulfur, granite, limestone, etc. Lastly, we have energy minerals, which is going to provide us some energy, that is coal, petroleum, as well as the natural gas. So these are very common minerals that we we all know, and is easily available in our environment. But each and every type of minerals that we talked about here, these all are very much limited. It is not unlimited. They are very much limited and of course non-renewable. Okay, no mineral is unlimited, no mineral is renewable. They all require a certain formation stage, formation age also. So these all are non-renewable and very much limited in different parts of the world. So where we next topic is mode of the occurrence of the mineral, where we can easily found the minerals or how we are getting it. So minerals are usually found in ores. Okay, so the place from where we are getting the minerals, we called it ores. So the term ore is used to describe an accumulation of any mineral mixed with other elements as well. So ore is basically used to describe the accumulation of any mineral with other elements as well, because ores, it means that particular type of mineral we are getting it from a large quantity. So the mineral content of ore must be in sufficient concentration to make it extraction commercially viable. The type of formation or structure in which they are found determines the relative ease with which mineral ores may be mined. So what is the use of minerals? Now minerals or ores are actually providing us commercial viable. Ores are basically providing us commercial value, and then when we can extract the mineral from the ores, we can use it as a mine as well. So the reserve, basically ores are the reservoirs where we have the minerals which we can extract, and of course that is going to definitely provide us some commercial viable. Now minerals generally occurs in these forms. First of all, in igneous and metamorphic rocks. Minerals may occur in the cracks, caves, faults or joints. Now, so first of all, igneous and metamorphic rocks or minerals may occur in the cracks, as we know, due to plate movement. It can be convergent, it can be divergent, it can be anything. But due to plate movement, when there is a crack or crave or fault or joint, anything like that happen on earth crust, from that joint or from that fault or from that crack, easily lavas can come out. So smaller occurrence when through these cracks or joints or any other form, when lavas are coming outside with the small occurrence which we call veins, and when this through these cracks or through these joints and fall, lavas are coming out in a large quantity, okay, or we can get these minerals in a large quantity, we call it lodes. So depending upon the small and large occurrence, we can define both the things into veinous and lodes. Now in most cases they are found when minerals in liquid. Now of course lavas are coming out, they are liquid or we can say semi-liquid in version or molten version. Now when the temperature decrease, is slowly formed itself into a hard, okay, or a rock. From that rock we can extract the minerals. So having cracks or fault is important to get that molten or liquid form of lava. So so when molten or liquid form of mineral and gaseous form are forced upward through cavities towards the earth's surface, as we know, due to plate movement only, due to plate movement or due to volcanic activity, when these liquids molten or gaseous form are forced to go upward direction, okay, they are going to crack the earth's surface, okay, they are going to force the earth's surface because they need to come outside. Now the cool, and after they came outside, they will reduce the temperature, they will cool down and solidifies itself, okay. So major metallic minerals like tin, copper, zinc, lead, etc. are obtained from veins and lodes. So most of the minerals that is easily available, we can get it through lava, we are like tin, copper, zinc and lead, okay. So next point, as you can see, in sedimentary rocks a number of minerals occur in beds and layers. So we talked about the igneous rock, as we know how igneous rock form. through the help of lava. But now we talk about the sedimentary rocks. How sedimentary rocks forms? Of course, as you all know, it formed through the beds or layers. So in sedimentary rocks, a number of minerals occurs in the beds and layers because sedimentary rock formed due to depositional activity. Okay, so during this depositional activity, so many beds and layers are coming. Now inside of these beds and layers, what we have? We have the sedimentary rock. The have been formed as a result of deposition, accumulation, concentration in horizontal strata. So the formation or the deposition activity is horizontal strata, not in a vertical angle. When on a horizontal angle, due to depositional, accumulation and concentration activity, we have all the mineral and other elements as well. It forms the beds and layers. Now coal, petroleum, some forms of iron as well, as we all know, have concentrated as a result of long period of under great heat and pressure. So how coal and all these iron they form? Now because of the deposition activity from long period of time through the heat and the pressure. So another group of sedimentary rock. So this is the first group of sedimentary rock which we can found easily from the beds and layers. Now another group of sedimentary minerals include gypsum, potash salt, and sodium salt. These are formed as a result of evaporation, especially in arid regions. In arid region, what happened? Now, because it is salt water we have, instead of we have some types of minerals as well. But due to deposition of when water evaporates, we have the residual, we have the surplus which through which we can get gypsum, potash salt, sodium salt, etc. So second is this one. Third one is the mode of formation involves in decomposition of surface rocks as well. Decomposition of surfaces. So we have seen that how lavas when they are coming outside helps us to provide mineral. When we have the sedimentary rocks formed, it helps us to get the mineral, as well as through the decomposition of the surface rock also, with through which we can get some types of minerals. So there are some types of minerals which is soluble with the water, it's soluble, so they eroded. Whatever left minerals that we have in on that rock or inside of the rock, that we call residual. We call residual mass of weathered material containing ores. Okay. Now other elements, as we know, one rock is consisting of 2-3 types of mineral, where other minerals due to the water they eroded, because they are soluble, so they eroded by the running water. Now whatever left, the residual mass is left, that we can use for the mineral. That is example like bauxite. So bauxite is formed this way, that other minerals are eroded by the running water or weathered by the running water, eroded by the running water, and whatever left, that is bauxite. Next one, we have certain minerals may occur as alluvial deposits. Okay, so not only we have sedimentary, we also have the alluvium deposit as well. So in sands of valley floors and the base of hills, these deposits are called as placer deposits. As we know, in the foothills areas of any mountain, the in foothills area, what happened here, rivers are starting their deposition activity, and all the rocks they carried here, they are going to make it very fine as due to the erosional activity. So certain minerals may occur as alluvial deposit in sands, valley floors, or in the base of hills. These deposits are called as placer deposit and generally contain minerals which are not eroded by water. So the other part of this rocks are eroded by the water. Whatever left, these are non soluble, so these stays are deposited with the alluvium. Okay, and Examples like gold, silver, tin and platinum. These are the most important such minerals which coming from the upper layer of the mountain or in a sand valley and deposited with the alluvium. Okay, if we find in alluvium we can easily get it. It's not that each and every sand valley or in each and every base of hills we will get the gold, silver or platinum. There's a specific region from where we can get it, and this is also kind of like residual mass. The other part of the rock or mineral is eroded by the water. Whatever left, that we placed as a placer deposit, that is gold, silver, tin and platinum. Now the last way through which we can get the mineral, that is the ocean water. Okay, we know ocean waters we are not using in our daily life, but yes, of course ocean waters provide us so many types of minerals. Now the ocean waters contain vast quantities of minerals, but most of these are too widely diffused to be economical significance. Yes, in ocean water we can easily get varieties type of mineral, but due to inaccessibility, due to of course a huge requirement of economical activity, still this minerals are not, we are not using in a large quantity, but there are some specific minerals which we can get it from oceans and we are using it. Now common salt, magnesium, bromine are largely derived from ocean waters. The ocean beds too are rich in manganese nodules. So through ocean waters we can get common salt, magnesium and bromine. These are easily or highly derived from the ocean waters, from ocean beds. So these are some specific minerals which we can use in our economic activity or helps us to improve the economic activity. So today we discussed about how we get the minerals, how in various formation, that we get it through the cracks, we get it through sedimentary deposit, we get it through residual mass, alluvial deposit, as well as through ocean water. So these are some ways where or through which we can get minerals. We discussed about how minerals are important. We discussed definition of minerals and what is the difference. Basically, what is the difference between geographers and geologists, and what are the factors to identify the rock or the mineral. Hopefully this video helps you to understand to this topic. Thank you students, thank you for watching today's video, and in our next class we will discuss the rest part of this chapter. Thank you everyone.